Aksh and Gopika, our junior panelists here. What are some of the misunderstandings or false expectations that you had about marriage before you got married? And what did you learn slash realize?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for encouraging us to participate. And honestly, we're just super appreciative of just listening to everyone else here. So that's personally our goal. But since you've asked, we'll share something. Yeah, we just crossed 5 years in July, so it was a good time to look back and think, what did we expect going into this, and where are we now? And So we'll share a few things each. I think one of the things that stuck out for me is, I remember before we got married and moved in together that there was a certain level of effort required in getting together, going on dates or spending time. And so there was a need to kind of engage in like the relationship to stay connected. And I just thought that, yeah, when we get together, we'll have to figure out the logistics of living together and all of that. But the love stuff is going to be figured out. I mean, the relationship, the connection, that's just, we're going to be with each other. We're going to pass by each other. It's going to be so easy to do it all. And yeah, it's not necessarily the case. That there is a very conscious effort that I realized I had to make. So personally, this is one of the things that I always struggle with, and still today, this morning, also we're having a discussion, and something that I'm still struggling with. So um, I want to share that, and then the other thing is um, a little different, maybe a little more subtle, but I was thinking that, having grown up here in the U.S., that I also saw myself very much, you can say, open-minded, maybe more progressive in nature. Just saw like men and women as equal, and so I just thought, being an equal partner, which is, sometimes, not everyone has a different type of relationship, but I know often that is the case in the modern world, that there's a certain expectation everyone's equal partner. And so I thought, well, that'll be easy to do. It'll be easy to be an equal partner. But I also realized that that whole idea of even shared decision making is not necessarily so easy to navigate. Just again by default, I thought everything's just automatic. It'll work. Um, I remember there's a premarital list where you say who's going to do what, and there's a checkbox for both, and like I checked both for like almost everything. But of course, the execution is where there has to be a lot of thought and dialogue for. So I realized that that wasn't as easy as I thought, and at the end of the day, there's also a need to have a oneness as a couple and your own individuality as a person. That oneness and difference. Um, so I'm seeing that was something that I didn't realize before, and something that I've been learning since.
So, for me personally, I had this expectation going into marriage that whoever I would marry would be this person that would never hurt me, or in my marriage, I would never experience the same hurts or betrayals that I might have experienced in other friendships or other relationships. I thought that whoever I was going to marry would never do that to me and would never hurt me in the same way. And I actually learned that it's quite the opposite, not in a bad way, but being married, marriage almost put a spotlight for me on the ways that I got hurt in relationships. And it wasn't my spouse's problem, but it was my triggers and wounds from the past. And so I think realizing that and owning that, and then learning that marriage can also be, while it does spotlight and intensify maybe past hurts and baggage, it can also be like a beautiful opportunity to heal from past hurts and baggage if you work through it together. So I think that was one misunderstanding and learning. A second thing was regarding spiritual life. Like growing up in Krishna consciousness, I always had this hope. Like I had a criteria of what I wanted in the person I married, and one of the items was like a spiritual partner, that we would be able to share our spiritual life together and do everything together and chant our rounds together and, you know, travel hand in hand together. And I don't think it was a bad criteria to have on my list, but I think I also falsely expected that my spouse would be my spiritual coach, that he would almost, in one sense, take responsibility for my spiritual life. So if I wanted to get up early in the morning to chant my rounds, then, you know, he should be the one like nudging me and waking me up in the morning. Hey, get up, let's go, let's chant our rounds. And so I think in the first years of marriage, I was feeling upset and blaming him until I realized, wait a second, just because I'm married doesn't mean that I release responsibility for my own spiritual life and my own spiritual progress. And that he is, he can be my cheerleader in my spiritual goals and aspirations, but I have to take responsibility. I think Srila Prabhupada writes in the Srimad Bhagavatam that we all have to fly our own plane at the end of the day, and we can take the support of the people that we love while we're here, but at the end of the day, we have to learn to fly our own plane. So I think just realizing that I have to still maintain ownership of my spiritual life and my sadhana, it's on me, was something that I learned. And the last was not an expectation before marriage, but I kind of felt it maybe the first year of marriage when, you know, the difficulties emerged. I started kind of feeling that our relationship had these hardships or, you know, conflicts or difficulties, and nobody else's did. And I remember when I first met Mother Uttama on the first retreat we went to, we were engaged at the time. And the first thing she said was, oh, you're engaged. Right now you feel like you're on the same page about everything, but after you're married, you'll feel like you're on the same page about nothing. And I swear at the time, I don't think I believed you, Mata. Like I was like, no, it's never gonna happen to us. We're so interconnected. But lo and behold, you know, going into the year one, year two of marriage, those differences do really emerge. And I started doubting my decision. I kind of started feeling like, did I choose the right person? Did I, you know, should I have gotten married? Like, was this the right thing? It's so hard. And I don't think anybody else has it this hard. Everybody else's relationship seems totally perfect. Like, so I those thoughts kept on coming to my mind. And then I think something that we've learned once we were able to kind of admit our challenges and accept help, that you know, our relationship is going to have certain challenges that other people's relationships might not. And where we thrive as a couple, maybe other people will have challenges. And the challenges that we have are perfectly orchestrated by Krishna to allow us to grow. And that it wasn't a mistake because Krishna sent me my spouse so I can grow. And that's why I have to face the particular challenges, not that there's something wrong with my marriage. So those were the three things that I've learned in the 5 years.
Bruce, thank you.